Thank you so much for joining. I'm really excited. Simple little practice to show yourself some love. If we haven't met yet, my name is Andrea. I'm an Ayurvedic counselor, and I work at Rainbow Blossom as their wellness category manager. So I love supplements, body care, all that good stuff. I make tons of recipes, and normally, we love having classes where we can all gather and do these kinds of things together. Now we thought it'd be a good idea to do something online. Yeah, so this is the first time, so bear with us a little bit. We are at our wellness center. This is our educational kitchen, and we are open, so we have some shoppers if you hear some chatter behind. But it's just us here, so no worries. So I love making recipes and doing all this stuff. We can go ahead and get started. So after the recipe, you have a chance to pick up our health and beauty guide for the summer. We go through and the recipe is right in here. So we're gonna follow right with it. And there are a few things you can do to customize always. This is just a very basic, easy to make with things most of us already have in our houses, and now y'all definitely do. And then I'll talk about a couple add-ins you can do if you want to make it special for a certain person or a certain season or holiday. So very flexible. This is just a basic recipe. So we start with our pink Himalayan salt. I like using the coarse salt, more exfoliating. You can also use fine pink salt if you'd rather it be more. Or if you buy the coarse, you can use a mortar and pestle to kind of ground it yourself. For us today, we're going to go with the coarse. Over y'all. So it starts with a cup of the pink Himalayan salt. Nothing really has to be exact, especially when I make it at home. I play around with the measurements a little bit. But with the recipes, this is the one I usually go for. You can add more oil if you want it more or more salt. You can kind of play with it back and forth. So we have our salt ready to go in our bowl. And next I put in the coconut oil. So depending on what kind of year it is, your coconut oil may be solid or it may be liquid. We're inside here with air conditioning, so ours is solid. If you're outside or it's warm in the house and it's fire already, no worries, it's still good. Still good to go. So I'm going to scoop this out here. We need 2 tablespoons. And it should be pretty malleable. If it's hard or too hard for you to scoop or smush, then we can bowl of water. That will help melt it up. Or on a day like today, you can probably just set it outside for 5-10 minutes and it'll get nice and melty for you. And if you get any on your unit, I just put it right in my So start smushing the coconut oil and salt together. You see that you don't have enough oil, but as it melts, you mix it. Usually once you start to get it, it starts to get a little bit more malleable. We've got our coconut oil in there. We're going to add our jojoba oil. This one has a teaspoon. This is just for a little extra nourishing and skin health. You could totally make it with this coconut oil if you wanted, and I have in the past, and it works just as well. But I like using jojoba, as it mentions, damaged skin. It helps just cells the way we want it to be. So, we'll hold it in. Consistency. Mix it as well as you can all together. And for this specific batch, you only going to be a little water. So we'll add that in first, and then I can talk about the options that y'all can throw in if you have things at home or for the future you want to do. So everyone received one of these little Rosewater mists. I like the mist because then it's nice and easy to spray on your face and around the house. But in mist, but we sell it in big bottles, so little bottles. So I'm just going to take my mister off here. We're using 2 teaspoons. You could use just one. I use 2 for the recipe calls for 1. It's completely up to y'all. But I will use 2 teaspoons in mine. The water there. I completely agree. The rose water is awesome for so many things. Recipes, and then we also have the rose water concentrate, rose water, or food rose. So I add it to my cheesecake, I add it to my chocolate chip pudding, vibe and lots of opportunities to use the rose. I use it all. So we just kind of mix it all together. Now, super soothing with the coconut and rose smell together. How's it going for y'all? Do you think this is okay? Or do you think your consistency? Kind of like oatmeal. If you want it to be more exfoliating or you like you're just too liquidy, you could always add a pinch, just a little bit more salt at a time. I'd say maybe a teaspoon at a time. So if you want it to be more oily or more moisturizing when you put it on, just add a little bit more oil to get a good consistency you make. That's why I like making things at home. You can customize it to be exactly what you want it to be. So here is where we could add in, we have some dried flowers. I have hibiscus here. So hibiscus will give it a really pink color. I'm just going to put a few hibiscus. You can also put rose petals or lintula petals, lavender, any kind of dried flower that you like to kind of make it a little bit more fancy or useful. At this point, you can also add in more essential oils if you wanted to. If we want it to be a nighttime scrub or something to calm down, you might want to go with lavender chamomile or lavender vanilla. If you need a little bit more self-love and you're trying to lift your heart a little bit, maybe something brightening, a citrus, a bright floral like a lemongrass or something along those lines. If you're trying to wake up, you can always put a little bit of coffee essential oil in there. So really the possibilities are endless when it comes to the different essential oils that you can add, the different ways you can really customize it for your friends, your family, for yourself, different things. I love this possibilities with this. So it's really simple. The only thing we do after that is if you're not going to keep it in that bowl, we have these little amber glass jars. I like getting amber glass or cobalt glass better because that protects it from sun. And so that means it's going to last a little bit longer. Something like this, obviously we used all fresh food grade ingredients. You can keep it in your fridge. It will harden up a little bit because that's coconut oil. You could keep it in your fridge. I don't keep mine longer than 6 to 8 weeks. And then you can put there's a label right on it. So you can put your name and the date or a little message if it's for a friend. You can tie a ribbon on it. And usually after I fill it on top, I'll put some extra petals, just so when they open it, it looks like that. And then, like I said, any flowers that you have around, if you have mint growing in your backyard, you can put a little sprig of mint in there. And then that'll be a nice refreshing. That would be great for your feet. So kind of mint, peppermint, that would be great for feet. So this is super easy salt scrub recipe. To kind of go through the ingredients one more time. Chose to use salt because it's summertime and salt pulls moisture out of the skin. And a lot of us, I can tell right now, a lot of us have the sweat and a little bit of oiliness going on. Salt is going to help pull that out. Whereas in the wintertime, we use sugar because sugar is a humectant and it's going to bring moisture in. For today, we use pink Himalayan salt because it helps detox the skin. It helps pull out oil and just a real nice cleansing detox. Coconut oil is super versatile for one thing. It's good for hair, skin, cooking, all the things. So just good to have in the house. It's a great base. You can use it as a base for scrubs, as a base for your own body oil or your own body, you can make a body whip out of it. Coconut, we always use the unrefined and raw coconut oil, and you know it's going to be unrefined and raw when it's white and solid, when it gets kind of cold. We use it because this has the most nutritional value. All the goodness from Mama Earth, all the things are here in the raw one. That's why we want the raw one. As I mentioned, jojoba oil, we chose that because it's a nice skin protectant, rejuvenates skin, so just a little added moisture and protection against the environmental and physiological stressors that we all take in every day. And the rosewater we chose not because it smells delicious, but also because it's very calming for men and women, for everyone, pretty much everyone, unless you've been stung by a bee when you were smelling a rose. Almost everyone will agree that rose will bring a calming sense to them. The scents have such an impact on memory and mood. That's all because of our limbic system. So our olfactory system of smell has a direct link to our limbic system in our brain. And our limbic system is what's responsible for our memory, our emotion, our mood. And that's why when you smell cookies, you might automatically go right next to grandma's house. Or for me, if I smell lilac, I'm sitting there under my grandma's tree. It's so fascinating to me. And that's why I think aromatherapy is such a fantastic avenue for everyone to play with and use to help take control of your own health and wellness. Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate y'all coming for our first ever DIY Zoom class. I believe we're going to have one rocking next month. So definitely stay tuned, and I would love to see all y'all again. I work under all 5 rainbows, so if you see me walking through, grab me, say, hey, you're at the class. I'd love to see you. Questions about anything, always feel free to reach out. If there are recipes you'd like to learn how to make, or you have suggestions for classes, feel free to reach out via our website. There's an info@Rainbow Blossom address. If it has to do with wellness, it'll end up my way, and I'd love to make some things with y'all.